Recording. Turn on the computer. Record the computer. Hmm.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Have you watched the Apes episode for tomorrow yet?
Nope.
Um, I
Hmm.
don't, man, it's
It's an episode.
you'll know when you watch it. No, it's my favorite episode of the series by like kind of a lot,
Okay,
actually.
cool.
You'll
Cool.
you'll see why. You'll
Yeah.
know exactly why like 20 minutes into it. Holy shit. I haven't actually I'm like 5 minutes from finishing it, but like holy shit. It
Okay.
is like yeah.
No, you were watching Sounds and Silences, which I haven't seen, and that's supposed to be like one of the worst episodes of the series. You can vouch or not.
Hmm. Um, I saw like 10 minutes of it and it didn't seem great.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's
Mm.
generally considered to be one of the worst.
Hmm.
Uh, that was one of the ones that was out of syndication because of litigation or whatever.
Weird.
5.7 on IMDb. That's pretty low for a Twilight Zone.
Yeesh.
What does this one get? Caesar and me
Mm,
gets a I don't know. It went down. A 6.5. They didn't so not there's not love for this one, I guess, but there's not hate
it's,
like
it's
the
not.
other one. Not as strong hate.
We'll get into it.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we do's it then. Do you have a prologue somewhere within reach?
Start talking and I will have one by the time I have to talk, I think.
Okay.
That's not very confidence inducing, is it?
Right.
Give me a let me oh fuck.
I could put it in the chat if you want.
I can find it here. Because I was looking at the IMDb for it, which I think they have the prologues in there. Maybe that's only Wikipedia that has it.
Yeah, just put it in the chat. Now it's in the chat. That's easy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, more recent, I've just been like starting to like assume people have it there. I'm like, oh, that's not necessarily the case. I should, think about it before I start the show.
I have a real stupid gag, which you
Yeah,
probably could guess.
I could guess you're going for something there. Okay.
Yep.
We'll leave a pause. I'll start.
Okay.
Welcome to Time Enough Podcast. It's where we delve into all of the episodes of the Twilight Zone and beyond. This is Matt here as always. Bopping back in the other chair. It's Mark. Hello.
Hello.
Is this your bit?
Yep.
Threatening a bit. You're just gonna be wooden? Is that what you're gonna do?
Not for just talking. I was gonna do a bit for the prologue.
Oh, okay.
Jesus
You gave such
Christ.
a. Oh, okay. I thought you were maybe I was like trying to read if your hello was like leading me and like I was supposed to like take the bait of some kind. But I guess not.
Hello.
It's like, oh, well, Mark's rather wooden today,
Uh,
isn't he?
well, the best joke is the one that you trick someone into thinking that you're about to tell and then you never do.
Right, right,
It's
right.
like, the threat of another September 11th.
Like a
The
Stanley
best
Kubrick
joke.
movie.
Sure.
They're all jokes. He was a
The
funny
best
guy.
joke. Yeah. He is pretty
Well,
funny.
no, no, he is funny. I mean, you have to look
I
under
wasn't
the
being
surface a bit.
sarcastic.
Nope, nope, nope. Today it's Caesar and me, the second of our dummy episodes, but they'd already used the name dummy, so they say it a lot in this though. It's one of those things where if you keep saying it, it starts to sound weird, dummy, dummy, dummy.
Did you look up how they use the same dummy again?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I might have said that when I did the dummy itself, so I didn't put
The
in
dummy
today's
will be
trivia, but
back.
the dummy will be back, yeah.
And the dummy's back.
And the dummy's back. So that makes, I mean, two episodes, that makes it a very iconic prop, doesn't it?
Yep. Um,
I guess it doesn't look
not
just like
as
the guy this time, but yeah. Or like
not
that
as
we don't get the fun face swap, right? So there is no money shot like that one.
That's the big problem here is I was like, are they going to do that again? Well, they can't because
They did
Masks
it.
just happened. So they sort of already did that just 2 episodes. I mean, it's not a face swap, but they did a weird face thing.
Yeah, they did
So,
weird face stuff.
so I put here in verbatim in my notes. Let me see. Damn it. I had it
He's
right
looking
here.
in
What
his notes.
happened?
He had it right there. What happened?
What happened to my notes?
Who knows what happened to your notes? I'm looking at my trivia right now. It's right here.
Okay. Actually, wow, what the hell? Search doesn't work in this? I'm so
Whoa.
confused.
You're so confused.
Um,
You need a dummy to get
Whatever.
your
I
life
put in my
together.
notes at some point that I guess it disappeared. Oh, no, here it is. Oh, it's going to be like the dummy. Wait, that already sort of happened in Masks. I'm going to guess that almost nothing will happen at the end.
Hmm. So nothing happened
So
at the end?
I was right. Almost nothing happened.
The Popo came. They took him away.
Who cares?
Well, he does. He's
I
arrested now.
mean, he robbed two establishments. He went to jail for robbing two. Nothing happened except for okay at the end.
Well,
I
the
guess
dummy
it
told
turns
him to
out the
do it.
dummy was real.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, dummies are
That's
real.
something. That's
They're physical.
something.
They exist in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and do this trivia, I suppose.
All right. Do it.
Original air date was April 10th, 1964. Script is by Adele Strassfield. Maybe you don't know that name. Seems she wrote this, one episode of a piece of Gilligan's Island, and something called Insight, and that's it. She had like 3 credits. But this is the only Twilight Zone fully credited to a female writer. So
What I read in the IMDb trivia was that she was the secretary of the guy who was like the showrunner for the second half of the season.
the producer,
So,
yeah,
or the producer, yeah. So
William
she
Hogue.
basically the two of them basically hashed this out together, and she got the credit. So,
Okay, well, good for her.
yep.
Robert Butler directed. Obviously not the case here, but he was a TV pilot man for shows such as Star Trek, Hogan's Heroes, Batman, and Hill Street Blues, Moonlighting, Remington Steele, Lois and Clark. It's a staggering amount of pilot credits. I guess that's just being a steady hand sort of guy. This isn't a pilot. Could have been the pilot for Caesar and Me the show. Caesar has a new owner every
Sure.
week.
Yeah, why not? Actually, this is if you take every episode of the Twilight Zone as a backdoor pilot, this isn't a bad one.
No,
It's
it's one
not
of
a
the better
great
ones.
episode,
Certainly
but
better
it's
than
a good
Cavender's
pilot.
coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably better than the dummy. Like, where do you go with that?
Jackie Cooper was Jonathan West and the voice of Caesar. He started off as a featured member of Our Gang, played Perry White in the Reeves Superman films, and did a whole bunch of TV in the middle. He remains the youngest nom for a Best Actor Academy Award for Skippy in 1931. Cooper was 9 years old at the time.
What, did he play the titular Skippy?
I think Skippy might have been a dog. I assumed Skippy was a
Oh,
dog. I didn't look that deeply, but now I'm interested. Now I have to find out if
mm.
Skippy's a dog or not. I'll get back on the
Is
dog news, I guess. Hmm?
does a dog? Is there an Academy Award for dogs?
Skippy's the boy. He is Skippy.
Oh,
Okay.
he is
He's
Skippy.
in the title. Why did I just assume he was a dog? I don't know. Because Skippy's
No,
not a good name
you
for a
just
person. Skippy's a name for a
you just
dog.
you just wanted to diminish his achievements. Like it
As
wasn't
Skippy.
him.
He
He
wasn't
wasn't a titular character.
Skippy. He couldn't be. He was servicing the dog. Wait, that doesn't sound right at all.
Yes, he got an Academy Award nomination for servicing a dog. The
Okay.
30s were wild, man.
Morgan Brittany, credited here as Suzanne Coupeau, her actual name, played Susan. As a child, she'd appeared in films such as Gypsy. Once in her 20s, she'd make a career playing Vivian Leigh in films like Day of the Locust, Gable and Lombard, and The Scarlett O'Hara War. In the 80s, she played Catherine Wentworth on Dallas. I didn't watch Dallas, though.
Hmm.
I'm the wrong vintage to have watched Dallas.
I still don't. I don't know. Am I ever going to watch soap operas?
Probably
I,
not at
I,
this point. You got to watch your stories. You get a little older, you want to
I
watch your
mean,
stories.
I watched Oz. That was sort of soap opera like.
Hmm. I mean, yeah,
I
the
guess.
elements creep into other shows, but as far as
Yeah,
even Dallas is like that's a primetime soap opera. Is that different than like a daytime soap opera? I mean, it is kind of, right?
probably. I just feel like the main is the main characteristic of soap operas that they have just a thousands and thousands of episodes because that's basically the complete opposite of what I would ever want.
Dallas only has, I mean, it had like 7 seasons, but it didn't have like an insane amount of episodes. You watched some of Nip Tuck with us back in the day. That's kind of a soap
I
opera.
did not like Nip Tuck. I can say it and I can admit it now. I hated when you guys had me watch Nip Tuck. I did not like it. And I
Okay,
can't tell it was
vote
just it
against.
wasn't like it was just the it felt like all the acting and the directing was terrible and I don't know why.
I have a
Because it wasn't
feeling I
like they
wouldn't
were all
like
bad
it
actors.
now. Like I bet
I like dramas sometimes, but I don't know,
I don't know
just
how
that.
that show would play now. I feel like it might not be as captivating watching it in 2025 for some reason, but I don't know why.
Maybe. I don't feel like people talk about it like they have fond memories of it. People talk about like Lost is derided kind of a lot, but people still like constantly talk about how much they love Lost
Well,
and
that
stuff. So it's
changed.
like,
That did quite a bit of a paradigm shifting for television, didn't it? But I think everyone
I
felt
suppose.
betrayed by the ending, so everyone has like kind of some bad blood towards Lost.
Yeah, I mean that's some people just didn't like it, and some people don't like it based on that apparently everyone was treated horribly working on it, which I definitely understand.
I'll just reiterate that I've had several rewatches of Battlestar Galactica, but not Lost, because they kind of aired, they kind of started and ended about the same time, so I kind of in my mind stick them together.
I've
Uh,
not rewatched anything except for Star Trek: The Next Generation.
hmm. I got a few more actors here. Miss Kadali was played by Sarah Selby. She doubled down on the aunt thing, playing Aunt Gertrude on Disney's 50s Hardy Boys series. The pawnbroker was Stafford Rep. We've already seen him here in Nick of Time and The Grave. A few years later, he was Chief O'Hara on Batman, which
Yay!
everybody gets to be on Batman except for you and I.
Yeah.
We were too young to be on Batman.
I'm pretty sure some people weren't on Batman.
Mm.
Was Dick
Okay.
York on Batman?
I don't know. While you're doing the opening prologue, I'm going to find out if Dick York was on Batman.
You weren't going to go into the name, the guy whose last name is basically Bazinga?
No, because there was nothing interesting in his list in his career listing.
Sorry, sorry, Don Gazaniga. Well,
I looked at
cut that
his
out.
I looked
I'm
at his
sorry.
page.
When I said it, I'm like, that's not, no, that's
You,
bad. Cut that out.
okay, yeah. Where was it? I looked at his page, but then I just didn't. Yeah, it wasn't interesting, so I moved on with my life.
Yeah, well, that happens. Bazinga is pretty boring.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm
anyway,
gonna
do
read
it.
this prologue while I drink this water. It will benefit no one listening to it and barely benefit anyone watching it. God.
Some people hate this sort of thing on podcast mics.
Jonathan West, ventriloquist, a master of voice manipulation, a man late of Ireland with a talent for putting words into other people's mouths. In this case, the other person is a dummy, aptly named Caesar, a small splinter with large ideas, a wooden tyrant with a mind and voice of his own, who is about to talk Jonathan West into the Twilight Zone.
All right.
I,
Ironically, I wasn't watching you either because I was trying to find out if Dick York had been on Batman, which it seems he had not. However, he was on Insight, the show that today's writer also wrote for. Um,
I couldn't commit to any part of that endeavor except for like there was water, sort of.
Dick
I like
York
kept
only
moving my
has
mouth.
Dick York only has 59 total credits. That's kind of wild. It
Weird.
seems
He's
like
like
he's
the Kai
around more.
Wynn of television.
Yeah, yeah. And other than Bewitched, the only one he did a bunch of episodes for was something called Going My Way, which was 30 episodes. So, interesting.
Did did Dick Sargent replace Dick York, or did Dick York replace Dick Sargent?
I forget which way they dicked around.
uh, but
Uh,
all we know, we definitely know that Dick Armey commanded them both.
right. Yes. Okay. Where were we?
He was the first one. Dick
Okay.
Sargent was the second one.
Oh yeah, because Dick York had like major like back problems or something,
Yeah,
which I guess maybe is why he only has 59 credits total.
yeah. Too bad that penny wasn't real or something.
Right. You could afford medical treatment with that penny.
So yeah, this wasn't a great episode. I did to 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 his credit, I did think that the dummy was voiced by Mel Blanc, but it was voiced by the guy, the star of the episode.
Yep.
So to his credit, he did a great dummy voice.
Let me hear your dummy voice.
Hey, hey, buddy, why don't you? beat someone to death outside? Why
It would
don't
be
you beat them to
fun.
death? Look at that guy. Look at how he's walking down the street. Do you want this guy walking down the street? Why don't you beat him to death?
Well, you're no Mel Blanc, I'll give you that.
Hey, put WD-40 on my elbows. Do it.
Do it, do it. I
Do
mean,
it now.
you have to love the conceit of the dummy that tells the guy to go commit crimes, though.
It's not.
That's
Yeah,
baseline funny, you know?
it's it's like I wasn't like actively angry watching it, but I sort of knew it wasn't going to amount to that much. The kid was good.
That's what I would say.
Like,
The kid's great because she's just
yeah,
so
that's the
horrible
thing.
the entire time. At the end of the episode, she's going to continue being horrible.
Yeah, it's like, well, it was like kept feeling like, well, this kid's horrible and evil, but I'm like, well, he is actually robbing things, so technically, her not trusting him and turning him in is kind of the, I mean, I don't know, the right thing to do, I guess.
Yeah,
I
but
guess it
she's a
depends on how
snitch.
nice.
She's a rat.
Yeah. Well, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, like, how evil the establishments that he robbed were. I guess maybe that has to factor into it. But, like, then she's just, it also didn't really feel like it quite added up at the end where she's like, heard the dummy and turned him in based on that, but then also was going to go and do crimes with the dummy, and I guess kill her aunt with poison darts.
Yeah, she's gonna kill her aunt with
Um,
poison darts, which I didn't
so
know.
it's like
Police are gonna
a heel
notice that
turn for
too.
no real, a heel turn based on that. I thought the dummy was real, and it is. I don't know. It does. It's not. It feels maybe half baked is
If
the
a week
word for
later
this
she's
week's twist.
poisoned, if a week later she's poisoned darted her aunt, and you're the cop called to the scene again, do you arrest the dummy as well at that point?
Yeah, you just keep
Okay.
arresting the dummy. Yeah, no, it's only the dummy. The actually like the
Leave the kid, get the
Jonathan was
dummy.
framed.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's
Um,
like, I mean, he,
that's not true. He did all those
he
things.
did those crimes, but someone told him to do it, so you can feel
That
okay
is,
for him.
he was accomplice. But yeah, that what is it? What do you call that? Conspiracy? To conspiracy to commit burglary
Yeah,
in the first degree.
when I first watched the movie Little Caesar, I was kind of expecting a dummy, partly because of the title of this episode, and also because Edward G. Robinson kind of looks like a dummy.
I was expecting this to be related to Julius Caesar, but I guess it's Sid Caesar.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, because he's a comedian. You know, that didn't even occur to me. I just like the puppet's called excuse me, the dummy is called Caesar.
And it's the
I
second
didn't
really
think
big
about
shoe
it.
reference in a Twilight Zone episode that we've talked about.
Hey, hey, shoes are an important part of the zone. How are you going to get around without shoes?
Well, a really big shoe would fit an entire dummy in it. I don't know.
Hmm. Now, I was a little bit, I don't know if annoyed's the word, but just Jackie Cooper kind of like sometimes slightly doing an Irish accent and then kind of
Yeah,
forgetting about it at other times. That was mildly annoying. I guess it was annoying because I used the word twice.
yeah, he was a real Cameron Diaz, Gangs of New York about it.
But it's like just don't do it. Was he doing it so the dummy voice would be more different, I guess?
I think
Maybe
he
that
was
was
just
the
lazy.
idea. Yeah. But yeah. Not an accent man. Yeah, I have like five notes. Like his half accent is kind of pissing me off, blah blah blah. So
It felt like it kicked in more after the narration that said he was Irish.
he's Irish. Oh, I am? Okay, I better start talking that way more.
Oh, the narrator said I have to be Irish then.
I think before that it
I'm
was
not
just like you
gonna.
couldn't tell because he wasn't doing it very strong, which maybe it's good he wasn't doing it too strong, or it'd be completely ridiculous if he was talking like a leprechaun, you know?
I mean, maybe this episode would have been better if Caesar had been a leprechaun and he'd been an extremely Irish dummy that was telling him. Maybe that's a problem, right? I don't know. Is like I guess Irish prejudice was still alive and well in like the '60s.
Yeah. Well, hey, but would this episode be better if Jackie Cooper is just kind of talking, like New York talk, and the dummy had an insane leprechaun voice? That might, yeah,
Mhm.
go and rob the bank. Go and get the money for yourself. I think that would have actually been kind of fun.
Go get me some gold. Yeah, I can't even come close to doing one. But yeah, yeah, that would have been more fun. Um,
Although, with regular co-host Andrew, we did Psycho Vixens where our mutual friend Devin does an Irish accent just because he told a joke to Andrew using that accent once. So he was like, do it in the movie, which was probably not a great idea, but whatever.
as I recall, he did pretty good. Yeah, usually I don't feel like it's usually a good idea to do an accent in a movie unless you no,
Must.
it's just not. Like I don't know, cause we have our other film podcast where I keep noticing when people are not American, they're doing American accents, and then sometimes I even could tell how bad somebody's fake British accent is.
Best accent choice was Nicolas Cage and Peggy Sue Got Married. If you've
Yeah,
ever
that
seen
one was
that.
just like a weird redneck thing, right? Yeah.
It wasn't a redneck thing. The explanation Nicolas Cage gave in some interview is like, well, Peggy Sue goes back in time, so this guy that was supposed to be cool, is like a complete myth. So he was just giving a derpy voice. So the 30-something Peggy Sue would just be, oh my God, I like this guy.
I think he was the main reason I watched it.
Yeah, especially in modern times, that's the main reason I think you could watch that movie. Just to
Yeah.
watch insane Cage stuff. That
Yeah,
and
like
what's the vampire movie again? That's a big hit,
Near
right?
Dark.
No, 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 the one with Nick
No.
Cage.
He was in Once Bitten, was that it?
That's it. That's it. The one where he's
Uh,
just wild. Yeah, that's one of the
right.
early, completely nuts Cage movies. So
Was Jim Carrey also in that? Maybe he was in Peggy Sue. I don't know.
I don't
Now we're
know.
just now we're just talking about Dick York like individuals and what movies they were in.
Is Jackie Cooper a Dick York type individual? He's a little older,
Not
and he's
really.
not. And he just doesn't have boyish, handsome features. Um,
I mean, I definitely feel called out about not having a good job, but I definitely have done better than this guy. But also I feel like the guy at the employment agency has to he has to be able to do better than like what you've never had a regular job. I can't help you. Go to hell.
I know you
You
can
know?
wash dishes, data entry. You can give people jobs that don't have a ton of experience.
Yeah, dig graves.
Yeah, you
Dig
dig some
graves with your
graves. You'd
dummy.
be right.
Rob
I,
a bank.
don't take your dummy to job interviews though. That's not a good call.
No.
Mm.
I
Unless
mean,
you're planning to answer questions with the dummy for the job interview, then you should bring the dummy.
I'm sure that there's something where you could bring a dummy and get like an incredible opportunity because people are just like, wow, that's amazing. But
Hmm.
not this time. I don't know.
I mean, I guess it's clear in my room what's going to tell you to commit crimes.
I think what you need to do is take the dummy to the job interview and then do good cop, bad cop, where the dummy is the bad cop. Be like, hey, mister, I'm a real hard worker. I need a job. And the dummy's just like, I'll kill you. I'll
You
kill
will
you. I'll
kill
kill
him,
your family.
and then you will take his cookie. You will take the cookie, and you will eat all the cookies. For the listener, I do have a Cookie Monster puppet in my room. He's now telling Mark to kill a man for cookies.
Yeah, well,
Hey, he's
so,
a monster. It's
and
in the
then you,
name.
Matt, see that's how you would do it. You apologize for Cookie Monster, and you come off looking really good. So I'm like, yes, Matt, I will hire you to dig graves in my graveyard.
I'm a brand new gravedigger.
Congratulations, you start at $5 per grave.
Guess what, Bob? I'm a gravedigger now. I
Uh,
wonder if anyone's ever been excited about getting a
if any,
gravedigger job.
if any of the corpses pop out of the graves, then I'll dock your pay. Unfortunately, so make
When
sure
I
that they're
grow up,
deep
I want to
enough.
be a gravedigger.
I mean, it's not. I'm sure some people,
This girl,
you know,
Little Susan in this episode, maybe
yeah,
that's her aspiration. She's a bit twisted, right?
yeah, like amazing finding a child actor that's actually good.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. She was. I mean, let's be real. She was doing a better job than Jackie Cooper this episode, who
Yeah,
wasn't horrible, but the accent was kind of kneecapping his performance a bit, I think.
I mean, it's uncommon to see when they have that scene together where he catches her in his room. He's like, "What are you doing?" Like she's clearly much better actor than he is, which is really weird.
Well,
But
although it
at
is weird
least
that she ended up playing like Vivian Leigh and like because you hear about guys that play Lincoln all the time or Hitler, but not so many Vivian Leighs out there, you know?
well, I mean, she could probably play Lady Hitler if she wanted to,
Yeah, sure, why not?
right?
That sounds like a 70s exploitation film.
Lady
Lady Hitler.
Hitler.
Oh, that's 'cause I'm thinking of Ilsa of the SS, aren't
Yeah, well,
I?
she could have
She
done
could have
that.
played Ilsa, yeah, maybe.
Oh, you know what? She's in Buck Rogers in the 25th Century.
Oh, we might
Maybe.
catch up with her one day in our
Yep.
wild podcast streams. Let's see what else have we got.
Oh, she's in 3 episodes of The Twilight. Did you say that?
I did not. I said that that other dude was.
Oh, she was in Nightmare as a Child and Valley of the Shadow, both times as little girl.
Right. Well, at least she gets a name this time.
So she's like basically a veteran of the Twilight Zone at this
Yeah.
point.
Sometimes they get blinded by the other credits when they give me a whole bunch of other credits in front of that, which is what happened.
Mm-mm. Yep. No, I mean, there's plenty of stuff I've skipped that were. Everybody knows I've skipped a bunch of stuff. Trying to figure out what Nightmare as a Child even was because I forgot what this. I forget this entirely. The school teacher keeps seeing a strange little girl in her apartment building. Why do I forget this?
Because it was season one, I think.
Yeah, but it's like I completely forget this.
I somewhat
She was
remember
the
it.
little girl.
Yeah,
She's important in this episode.
ooh, yeah, yeah. She got a name in this episode. She didn't get a name in that episode.
But I mean, she was, well, okay. She was probably in this one more than that one, but she's like sort of the main catalyst there.
Yeah.
I don't
Um,
remember this at all.
Nobody actually gets murder in this though. There's just the intimation of murder, right? They don't murder the watch when they could have done that. They just suggest little Susan's about to go do some murder, but nobody
I've
dies. At the end of this
maybe
episode, Caesar's still clean. He didn't steal anything.
the thing is, I'm not really convinced that Susan's gonna do anything. You know what I mean?
She might be lazy.
Well, it's like a little girl is gonna. She's not actually thinking, I'm actually going to kill. I'm not actually gonna do murder and run away. Like that's not. I don't think that's how little children's brains work. They're
Yeah,
just
but
like,
once Caesar's talking to you, maybe you've had a psychotic break of some kind.
that's possible. That's something like maybe we could have done with a little more of that and a little less of Jonathan. I don't know. Maybe it should have been cut in two.
He's got a few sad lines, though. Room for one. Me and my friend, that is. That's a creepy thing to say.
uh
Do you have any other big observations you want to throw out on this one?
um I didn't think this was great, but yeah, it was fun, so I can't hate it. It's
I
just
think this is
not,
how Twilight Zone does comedy best, where it's not quite comedy, it's just so goofy and weird that it's funny. Because when they try to
yeah.
just be funny, it usually goes off the rails, you know?
Yeah, it's just that comedy is built on surprise, and I didn't
And
feel
then
like
you end up with
anything
that
was a
Van Cleef
surprise.
music, bum, ba, bum. This doesn't have that, which is very nice that we don't have the that helps. See, I would hate this
I,
episode if it had that soundtrack. So,
I was expecting that. Actually, the very first thing I wrote in my notes was, I wonder if this will be like The Bard, but with Julius Caesar following the guy around.
no, no.
Julius Caesar teach him how to do politics. Yeah.
Featured music by Richard Shores. It's a little hard to tell from Wiki if that means he like composed for this episode because it's kind of rare at this point that we get a straight up new soundtrack. But
I didn't really notice, but I didn't notice I did not liking it.
it's just there.
So,
But my
yeah.
main point is it didn't like ruin the episode like it did with the Bard. I mean, the Bard might have already been not a great episode, but yeah, the music was the one that just drove the nail through its forehead.
Uh, yeah, the Bard was like I didn't hate the Bard, but it was a mess.
I think I hated the Bard.
It's not good. It's not like I'm not gonna rewatch.
I mean, there's that
I'm
bit
not
of Burt
doing a
Reynolds, which is fun,
selective.
right? I could see like watching
Sure.
the Burt Reynolds part again, but yeah.
I don't know if that's it's kind of a bummer. There aren't really many episodes of the Twilight Zone that are like comedy episodes. I'd be like, if I did a selective rewatch, that I would. And it's I don't know if it's ironic, but it's like Severance, which is one of the best shows that's on now, which is heavily influenced by the Twilight Zone to the point they had an episode called The After Hours a week ago. Um, is done by a comedy guy, and there are funny things in it, and there are definitely parts of it that are outright comedic, but it's like also just overall devastating.
Well, the
And
most
there's
modern zone is Jordan Peele, right? Who, cut his
yeah,
teeth doing
comedy guy.
comedy. So,
Yeah, well, it's like they say that comedy and horror are close cousins, and I guess it's that whole surprise thing. Like you have to have surprise for comedy, you have to have surprise for horror, but there just isn't any surprise here unless you're really surprised by the dummy being real, which to me was not particularly surprising. You know, it's like I think honestly Masks was funnier than this. Um so yeah, and Masks no, Masks did have deliberate humor in it, but I think it was also funnier and better than this. So it's like I also I mean,
it
I don't
cranked
know.
up the weird. That one also just has such a
Yeah.
weird factor, which this one loses a lot of any weird factor it might have just because we've already done the dummy thing. In
Yeah,
Living Doll, I mean, we've had that too, which wasn't a dummy, of course, but I feel like
that was also funny.
that goes in the ballpark. Yeah, you know what? Living Doll for me was I think you either think it's one of the funniest episodes of the Twilight Zone or you don't like that episode.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see not liking it, especially if you had like a stepdad like that
Because that
for
and
the
What's in the Box had like kind of, horrible domestic abuse in both episodes, right? But What's
yeah.
in the Box just like kind of felt nasty about it, where Living Doll felt a little more Looney Tunes about it.
What's in the Box was basically only funny because of the poor execution. But it is interesting that if you look at the season as a whole, there are kind of more horror elements. It does feel
That's
like there
what
are
the
more
network
kind of
wanted, I
horror
think.
stories.
Isn't that what they
That's
wanted
so
for
funny.
another season of Twilight Zone? They're like, go do more supernatural and horror and stuff.
It's what ABC wanted to
Oh,
take it
ABC.
over
Oh, because it's
there.
going to change networks. Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if it's something like they looked at this season where like, well, the horror ones are good, so maybe do more of those. And clearly, Serling eventually was like, "Yep, let's do a bunch of horror stuff." A couple of years later, I don't know how many years is Night
It's
Gallery in the future. Like,
68, I think, so maybe 4 years in the
oh
future. Yeah. There's like a
yeah,
Western in there or something that he worked on in between.
neat. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Let's do everything.
Yeehaw!
Try everything like Shakira and
Yeah,
Zootopia.
try
Uh,
everything like Shakira and Zootopia.
let's do questions. Who in this episode goes in or through the Twilight Zone?
Um,
Oh, the prologue says
I
Jonathan West.
suppose, yeah, but also Jonathan West seems completely unsurprised that the dummy is telling him what to do. So, Susan?
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at the closing narration. A little girl and a wooden doll, a lethal dummy in the shape of a man. But everybody knows dummies can't talk unless, of course, they learn their vocabulary in the Twilight Zone. So the closing narration is not putting Susan into the Twilight Zone. We can, that's fine. I'm just noting that the narration does not.
I feel like she's the only one that was remotely surprised, including the detective. Like, this guy got caught like immediately. Nothing really, like, it was, we didn't
Well,
even
he
talk
paid his
about how
landlady
bad.
first.
Sure, but I don't know. They'll probably make her give the money back
Oh yeah, she didn't get a rent in the end, does she?
because the private dick or the local dick, house dick. That's the word. The
House
house dick
snitch.
caught him. Anyway, yeah, it was a series of poorly thought out and simple, dull crimes that were obvious, and he got caught immediately. So yeah, I'm just gonna say Susan because she was the only one that had any that had her perspective changed at all.
Mm.
And if she continues on along that path, then she's just like getting on the on ramp to the Twilight Zone,
or the on ramp to the thug zone
a
as she
juvenile
becomes a
hall.
teenage thug. Yeah,
Yeah, she'll be yeah she'll be in juvenile detention like
with her
next week.
dummy with Caesar. There's a show Oz, but with Caesar. Caesar's a character on Oz.
Right. I think Caesar. It's the show is that Caesar just shows up and people. It's like he's like a cursed object. People find Caesar and he talks them into doing stuff. But it's like how many people can he possibly convincingly get to like listen to a dummy?
6 seasons down the line, you'll find out. Um,
Uh,
how about their deservingness of being in the Twilight Zone? We got to say Jonathan West. He is in the prologue, so does he deserve?
yeah,
I imagine he was surprised at some point. We just didn't get that moment because it predated the show, right? His surprise moment was like a week, a month, a year ago, because he's
I
very
feel
used
like
to Caesar now.
if you know that Caesar's talking, then you should know not to listen to him when he tells you to rob a bank. You know, or rob a
Well,
what
he
was he rob
builds
a
you up
telephone?
slowly, doesn't he? At first, like, oh, it's a nice tie you've got today. Why, thank you, Caesar. Hey, you could get some new ties, but you don't have money. How do you get new ties?
I yeah,
How are you going
it
to get
just
a new
doesn't work.
tie, Mark? What are you going to
Maybe I'm
do?
not maybe I'm not enough of a sucker to like listen to this. I've never had anybody talk me into doing something
Sure, you
like that.
have. Okay, not like that.
But remember when you talked me into buying all those Beach Boys reissues?
That
And
was
I
a
was
good
like, I liked
idea.
those.
Well, they are
Sure,
good.
I enjoyed them. They are good. But it was also you talking me into them without me like necessarily knowing what I was doing.
Oh,
So I
okay.
don't
Well,
know.
you learn later. Okay.
Yeah,
I've
that's
no
not a
regrets
good
talking you into
example.
buying Beach Boys reissues. Now, if I'd gotten you to buy like the catalog of the Bay City Rollers, that might be a little snarkier.
I'm not sure I like Bay City Rollers. Maybe I do.
Well, I'm trying to choose a band that's like more like, blah. I mean, they're not the
Okay,
Beach Boys, are they?
back in the day, you liked Fish and I didn't. So if you talked me into buying a bunch of Fish CDs, that would have been like
Okay.
Caesar
And,
talking to this guy
and
robbing a
I'd feel
bank.
slightly bad about that now, yes.
Well, I mean that thing did happen where I had that girlfriend who liked Fish, and I was like, "Oh yes, I have seen the CDs of Fish on my friend Matt's shelf." And she got me a Fish CD for my birthday, and I like really hated it and hid it from view until like I didn't think I would ever see her again, and then I drove far outside the city to sell it to a used CD store, so no
Because
one
that
would
was the
see
only
me.
used CD store left.
No, because no one I didn't want anyone seeing me with it. I
Okay.
really didn't like it. I don't know.
Yeah, but you're
There's no way
selling
she's
it. You're
listening
getting
to
rid of
this,
it.
so I don't. There's no way she's listening to this, so I don't care. But if she did listen to this, I'd hope it would be funny and not
If you're
not
selling the music, that
irritating.
suggests you don't like the music, so
Yeah, but I don't. I didn't want to be seen with ever having it.
maybe someone gave it to you as a present. You didn't like it, now you're selling it.
I didn't even want to. I didn't want anybody to know that I'd been given it as a present.
Okay, well, we've had your anti-fish rhetoric on today's podcast. That's fine. Susan, does she deserve any? What does she deserve? I guess she hasn't done anything yet, so it's hard to talk about if she deserves anything.
I don't know if you snitch that hard on some dude who's just staying at your mom's house or your mom's whatever halfway house
She is a total
tenement.
brat, which is just again, that's the actor is fantastic making her a brat, you know?
Yeah, like I'd say that she's more lawful evil than you know what I mean. Than Jonathan is like whatever chaotic evil, stupid evil.
Yeah, I was
He's
about to
just
say
stupid.
stupid evil.
He's
Um,
stupid evil. No, I think that I feel like she probably would get something bad happen to her eventually anyway if she continues on this path of just being kind of a evil child. So yeah, yeah, sure. She deserves it. Now, actually, well, then again, can you assign can you assign desserts to a child? I kind of know.
well,
So I
let's
don't
look
change
at
my answer to no.
Jackie Cooper as a child. His father forbids Skippy to play in the pauperized shantytown because of its filth and criminal surroundings. Regardless, Skippy and his friend visit Shantytown, where Skippy
Hmm.
meets a new boy named Suki. He saves Suki from the bully, Harley Nubbins. And Skippy and Suki become these names are fantastic.
Harley.
I have to go through the entire list of the
Uh,
names of Skippy. Skippy
okay.
Skinner, Sookie Wayne, Eloise. That's not interesting. That's like giving the woman the name Helen, right? Sydney.
Yeah.
That's not, now, okay. Harley Nubbins. Okay, I actually already got in through all the good names. Oh, here we go. In the
Harley
scene where the
Nubbins.
dog dies, director Norman Tarog needed to get his nephew, Jackie Cooper, to cry. So he told young Jackie he was going to kill his own dog by dragging the dog off set and then having a security guard shoot the dog. Cooper did the scene, but despite finding the dog was not harmed, he was still hysterical for hours afterward to the point of needing a sedative. Yeah, 30s child acting. There we go. That's horrible.
I should
No,
not be
Jackie
laughing this
Cooper doesn't
hard,
deserve
but
anything. Even his character doesn't deserve anything after that.
I can't believe that you like brought up a dog earlier, and then this is the dog reveal. Is that they're like, I'm gonna kill this
There
dog.
was a dog in Skippy. Okay. Yeah,
That
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 was
would
more of a twist ending than Caesar and me had.
if they'd have put that in the episode, like Susan has a dog and Caesar's like, I'm gonna take your dog out to the woods and shoot her if you don't kill your
The night watchman's
come
gonna
lady.
shoot your dog. Wow, the 30s are
Oh
horrible.
god.
Well, I
Yeah,
guess
they
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 did
they
offer
really were.
they did nom him best actor for it though. And well, let's see. Tripometer 0 to 5. Where do you want to place this one?
I'm giving it a 1.5 because I have to give it a 1.5 because it's a dummy that's real. That's
Okay.
it, really.
Okay, I'm having a mirror image. I was like, I don't think the episode's that trippy, but just the dummy talking to you and telling you to commit crimes it's inherently trippy, which made me want to say 3.5. So it's kind of like I'm
Sure.
coming to that with similar logic, which I guess makes sense, which I guess really means maybe it's kind of down the middle, which is
Do
fine.
you remember what you gave the dummy that's a tripometer? Because that's
Nope.
like, I feel like that almost should directly influence this, like it's on a curve. Like there's no way that this could be rated higher.
Yeah, maybe I should have been keeping track of my tripometers or something, but I never did that, and it's season 5 now, and it's not going to happen.
I I listened to your masks episode, but I don't remember what you guys gave that.
It was pretty high. I remember
Yeah.
that because that's trippy. If I gave the
Yeah.
masks not higher than this, that was a mistake. I'm pretty sure I gave it higher than this.
Yeah.
That's
There's
3.5.
yeah, there's no way. There's no way. But it's like that it feels like the direct descendant of the dummy because it's a weird
But yes,
case.
folks, the one I did the episode I recorded 2 or 3 weeks ago, I do not remember what I gave it on the tripometer.
Yeah, I'm not gonna remember what I gave this in tripometer tomorrow. I'll probably be like, oh, I
That's
don't know
right.
what I gave it. A 7? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Different day, you might give it something different. Yeah, you don't know.
It's possible. I don't think I would give it higher than a 1.5 to be honest.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's differing opinions are more interesting, aren't they?
that's true. I'm just saying. I think that's probably my maximum out of charity because I do like there are mm, there are issues here, and the issues are mostly about the episode not being all that not reaching hard enough.
Hmm.
If it had been like, okay, even just you're gonna rob a bank and you're gonna rob a train, you're gonna rob another guy with another ventriloquist, you're gonna or you're gonna like put me through the bank slot and they're gonna put the money down my throat. Just there's so many things
Caesar
you can
talked them
do.
into making this episode. Go ahead, put me in front of the camera. I don't know why I'm giving Caesar the accent now. The real
Oh,
Caesar has the
it's
accent.
yeah. The real Caesar has the accent. It's just when he's acting, he sounds like Mel Blanc.
Put me in front of the camera. That's right. Clack, clack me jaw around a bit.
It's like Nicole Kidman, how she never has an Australian accent when she's acting.
Okay,
I think.
I guess we will wind this one down for today, unless you had something else you wanted to shout about this episode.
Um, I think the dummy should have been named Lamont.
Okay, sure,
That would been
Lamont.
like you big dummy.
Hmm. Okay,
That's it.
that's it.
That's the joke.
That's the joke. Okay,
It's not
we
any
t
worse than Caesar's jokes. Damn it.
We do all of our joking at Time Enough podcasts. Leave us a joking review or rating, a positive one. Be positively funny if you want to. We do lots of podcasting and occasionally tell jokes at podcastiopodcastius.org. Films and Filth, we talk about highly rated and lowly rated movies by IMDb users. Podcast 1999, we're talking about Planet of the Apes, the TV show at the moment. And there's video game stuff like Loot Globes, Pokemon, Game Show, and Monster Mash. Okay, I'm finished doing that.
All right. Well, stay.
Get off the
No,
mic.
don't
Go ahead, get off the
stop
mic.
snitching.
Go steal something. You want a cookie, right?
I do want a cookie.
You will find a man, and you will kill him, and you will take the cookies he carries. If he does not carry a cookie, you will find another man, and you will kill him, and you will take the cookies he carries. And if he does not have a cookie,
I knew you could talk. Oh boy, I'm gonna go kill a man.
there's something I just can't understand.
Oh boy. Um,
Oh,
what was I
I
gonna
kind of,
say?
I
Oh
had the
yeah.
same, I was gonna say something, thought, oh well. What was I gonna say? Cookie
Oh,
Monster.
you want to do that Monster Mash recording? Like, I guess we can just do it like sometime. Like we could probably record it like the 31st or something.
Yeah, put a maybe pin on it because I don't really know what my schedule's gonna be like next
Yeah.
week. But
Okay.
I assume they're gonna probably have me coming in like early-ish most days, so I probably am not gonna be on the podcasting his
I'm
uh
like,
in other words, grumbling, I guess I'll stop the recording. But bye to those folks.